All right, another episode of Get Them Words In, and I wanted to take today to talk about author goals. This is something that I want to kind of share with you guys as we're doing this whole process to becoming an author, and and what I'm going to be up to in the next year to 10, however long it takes before I can make this thing my career. So you have to set goals, and they have to be things that you can measure if you're going in order for you to be able to attain them. This is true for almost everything. If you say you want to have like a jacked body and you want to go to the gym, if you don't have a workout plan, you just go to the gym and randomly do stuff, you're not going to get the jacked body, because the jacked body has specific things that have been done to it to get it into that shape. You don't get massive biceps without doing curls. You don't get massive triceps without doing dips. Those kinds of things, they have like correlations, and the same thing goes with writing. So for me, that means setting some goals, not only just with word counts and stuff like that and books I want to publish, but also with video content, engaging an audience. And so you guys, if you're seeing this video, get to engage with me as I'm starting at the very bottom, getting in on the ground floor, getting to know Mike before he got famous, that kind of stuff. So the first thing we're going to talk about is I want to do at least 117 more vlogs. Now I wrote this a couple days ago, and this is the note card to kind of keep me accountable. I've noted that I want to post these on YouTube and Rumble so that I can build an audience on both platforms to make sure that my name's getting out there, that people start to hear the name Mike Van Gogh when they're looking for novelists or authors or young adult novelists or any of those keywords. 117 vlogs fills out the year. That's January 1st, and that'll be season 1 of Get Them Words In. That's kind of the first thing I'm going to be doing. Second thing is, and you'll notice, maybe I should have done that first. We'll fix this. We don't do jump cuts on this video, on this channel. It's S-tiered, which, a lot of the kids are doing these days. They're doing tiers of different, books they like or series they like or things, and it's just different tiers and stuff like that. And I could have done the same tier thing that they'd been doing with all the different colors and what. But this is S-tier. This is kind of above everything else. I want to share this journey. I want to do it every day, and I want to make sure that that content's currently going out so that you guys can see what it's like to start off being an author from day one and be able to kind of track that, 5 years from now when we're still making videos, and it works out that way. Second thing is, and this is tier 1, first thing we have to do, is I want to do 102 videos for the chapters of my books. And you've probably seen these if you checked out any of my stuff. These are the books that I wrote almost 2-3 years now. These are the Moving Lives trilogy. This is Rural. This is the first one. It's about a guy moving out to the country and having to deal with kind of life changes and figuring out life again and stuff like that. And we also have Urban, which is the sequel, kind of follows off that. And then we have Mobile, which is actually a book that bridges between the three, or the two. It starts off on the first one, kind of ends towards the first part of the second one, and kind of fills in a lot of the story gaps from a third character's perspective of the three. They're meant to be read in order. I'm probably going to do like a single volume thing, because like that's a nice book. That's something that you can bring on summer vacation, something that thick so you can just read, as opposed to all three of these. But it was real fun writing these. I'm going to do audiobook chapters of these and post them on YouTube and Rumble. It's one of the only things I can do right now as far as audiobooks go, so that people can engage my content that way as opposed to just reading the books. I eventually do want to get audiobooks up for all three of these. And all my books, but that's further down the road. We have to get a proper studio set up and a bunch of other things, and so we're going to do that separately and later, and it's going to be awesome. But for right now, we're going to get author-read versions of these books up on YouTube and Rumble so that you can check those out, and we'll kind of go from there. On to the next goal. So we have 2. I've had a pretty active Twitter account for a bit of time with the pen name, and I mainly wanted to kind of focus around inspiring other authors to be able to do their writing. That's where the tag Get Them Words In comes from. That's why we titled the vlog this, and so I have a bunch of tweets that I want to turn into shorter pieces of content just to help, get that inspiration into other people's lives and other people's writing habits, and to get them from thinking about writing a book to actually writing a book, or procrastinating while writing a book to actually writing a book. There's a bunch of stuff on there. You're going to see a lot of that, and that's going to get turned into video content. What I also want to do is, and I counted it out on kind of like an average and stuff like that, but 225 shorts or TikToks or Reels about writing craft. And I've shared with you guys in the past that I have quite the extensive writing craft library, and that's not even all the books. What I want to do with that is kind of get the good stuff out of those books and then share it in short form so that people can get little tastes of those books and they can feel the ones that they like from those tastes and be able to decide, is this a book that I need to get for my writing craft and my journey as a writer, or something else like that. I want to be able to make those videos. And those two kind of hold, tier 2 position. I'll just get these in the right order. I don't want to do those until I get that first tier done. This is always going to happen, the vlog. This needs to happen first so people can see my material when they come visit it. And that's what this tier is going to accomplish, but it requires that I do the audiobook chapters first. And finally, on the bottom, and this is kind of like a long-term project, that same collection of books that we had on before about writing craft, just here where I turn the camera around. I want to do proper book reviews on those to see if they're worth people picking up, because some of them have been like amazingly worth it. They completely changed how I looked at the art of fiction writing, and some of them were just kind of like they weren't good or bad. Some of them didn't have any real aspects that I took out of it. No highlighted sections, no dog ears, all that kind of stuff. And some of it I can barely close because they had so much good stuff in them. And I want to make sure that I'm, keeping that, and I'm being transparent about that so that you guys know which books to kind of listen to and which books not to, based on, one author's reading of those in his reviews. So that's something you can think about. Book reviews. I think we're probably going to aim for like 100 books on writing, and just kind of review them so that people can kind of self-educate themselves. I'm big on autodidacticism, which is a big word that means self-education, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what I'm going to be working on in the next, year, 2 years, that kind of stuff. I'm hoping to get at least this guy and these ones done before the end of the year, because that would kind of establish a video presence for like the bulk of it, and then everything else is just maintenance at that point and doing projects that I like to do. But above all things, and you see it up in the corner here, is what has to precede all these creative endeavors. No videos until you write 500 words. There is nothing more important to a writer than a daily word count, than daily getting in front of your keyboard or your notepad or your MacBook or your typewriter or whatever you decide to do. Nothing more important than getting in front of there and getting some kind of progress towards a project done. I've got about 20 to 30 novel ideas, and whether they're like big epics or like just short 50,000 word kind of like NaNoWriMo projects and stuff like that, they vary in between. But I've got about 20 to 30 projects that I could be working on in various stages of, ready to write or not. I'm actively writing 3 series as it is. And it is important that every day I get 2 crappy pages, which is about 500 words. Your 500 words a day is like 200,000 words a year or something like that. I'd have to double check, but it's a bulk of words that you're then able to kind of cull down into the good stuff and be able to make into products. And it is foundational for writers. You cannot be not writing every day. I don't write on weekends typically, and if I do, it's not at my regular writing time. I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I try and get my 500 words in. I try and do the most important thing to my writing career first thing in the morning. And during the weekends, I take a break. But if there's a lull and I feel inspired and I have some free time, I come down. That's why I make sure that my workspace is always ready for me, that kind of stuff. But before any of this happens, before I'm allowed to touch this stuff, I have to get my 500 words a day. And by making that rule, by making the no videos until you've written 500 words, that means when you see a video from me show up, in a schedule, that means that 500 words were written on a project, on, the new young adult series that I'm working on the steampunk series that I'm working on the future mystery series that I'm working on. I'm going to announce all those titles later on, but it means that that work has happened before these videos. For writers especially, these videos are how people get to know you. But if you don't have that product out, kind of like how we have the video chapters, if you don't have that product out, then it doesn't work. So just a quick video. Hope you guys have a good one, and we'll talk soon. Get those words in.